Welcome to Talking Trail. In today's episode, I'm catching back up with the runners that I interviewed prior to the 6 Foot track, people who are doing it for the very first time. I also have a bonus runner, Annie Hand, who ended up coming second in the race. I got a chance to sit down with Annie and talk about her race and her preparation and how the race unfolded for her as well. So that's coming up shortly. So if you've been enjoying what we're doing with the podcast, if you're learning from the content that we've been sharing, please don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, share with friends. Give us a 5-star review if you think it's worthy of that. Well, Dane, you got the first 6 Foot done.
Yep.
Done and dusted. So you were happy with your time?
Well, yeah, I was happy with my time. Yep.
So you did a 4:40 and 38 seconds.
Yep.
All right, so I worked out that you need about 3 minutes to be the fastest in your family at
Ooh,
6 Foot.
okay.
So certainly within reach, particularly with the muscle memory I find from first race to the next one.
Yeah.
I think you can always find some time there. So tell me how your race panned out.
So the race, I did get stuck at the start a little bit. I know Nellie's is always a bit slower to get down the stairs, but I didn't think it was going to be that slow, so I didn't race to the front of the wave like I should have.
Okay. You were in wave 2?
Wave 2.
Yep.
So I think it took 25 minutes for the first 3 Ks, which was pretty slow. But once I got past the person holding everyone up, seemed to push on all right. Got to the river 3 minutes under what I was expecting.
Okay.
I was trying to get there before an hour 30, which was good. Then the climb, obviously, everyone says it's brutal, which it was. I got up most of mini running. It was only that last little section I had to walk, but then I walked pretty much all of Pluvy.
Okay. Yep.
Or hiking. Black Range was a struggle, just the mental challenge of just the dragging it out, which I was used to. I found it similar to like the top of Red Hands to the Oaks Trail, that little section.
Yep.
Obviously a little bit tougher than that, but similar to that. And then deviation was I picked the spirits, picked back up, going downhill, helped the legs a little bit.
This is just on that 5K detour around through the pine forest there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I picked the morale up and I seen someone up ahead and just chose to stick to him, try and catch him before the aid station, which I did. And then, the finish line home was fun, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Challenging but fun, knowing the end was near.
All right. So when I interviewed you pre-race, one of the things we talked about was you wearing the shoes for the crossing of the Coxes. Yep. So how did you find that?
So I left the shoes on, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like I was going to be okay. I wouldn't need to stop.
Yeah.
3 or 4 steps out of the creek, I went, ooh, there's a rock there. So I did end up pulling over and untying them, gave them a washout, which I was glad I did because I don't think I would have.
With the RFS, with the volunteers there?
And they washed the socks and things, and the old mate asked if I wanted to shave too, but there wasn't much time for that, so I had to put a rain check on that one. But I'm glad I did wash the shoes out because it would have been a nightmare having a pebble for the rest of the race. Yeah.
All right. And the finish, did you have your family, your
the
awesome
wife,
crew?
The wife and the kids trekked it out there with all the way now through Lithgow after the road closure. So it was I was very thankful for that. That was good to have them on there. Give me that little push home.
Yeah, they're the most gorgeous support crew.
And I was expecting to just run down the hill into the cabins and straight ahead. Mm-hmm. But then they had the little detour like the year before where you had to run up and around the top. So I had to veer left. I almost ran through the barricade because the legs were heavy. But it was good.
Okay, so what surprised you about the race?
The Black Range, how rocky it was. Thought it was going to be more open, more fire trail. Very uneven, which did surprise me. Obviously, the hill climbs always surprise you once you've got 20 Ks in your legs. That's hard and challenging.
So you thought it would feel flatter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And more even.
Okay.
Notice I was rolling my ankle a little bit on the uneven rocks, which was a bit of a challenge.
Before the fire trail would be smoother.
Yes.
Given I've thrown out the gauntlet with the time.
Yeah.
And you've got to find a few minutes. Where do you reckon, like often, when you finish a race, after you get the, I'm never doing this again, and then sort of by that night you're going, oh, I reckon I could take some time off here if I did this differently. Did you go through that?
Yeah, I did that on the bus
Yep.
back to the car. I reckon push harder to the river. I could have not pushed too hard, but a little bit more there. I was holding back, knowing what was to come, knowing how hard the hills are. You're going to be walking them or slower up the hills anyway, so you push a little bit faster to the river.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly would have saved a few minutes there. Get to the front of the wave,
Yep.
definitely. Try and beat that rush down the...
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. And you sort of hope each wave is a little self-seeding, but then also it is a race. Everyone's got a bib on. And
definitely,
particularly in those earlier waves, wave 1, 2, and even 3, more so than the other waves, you have a whole lot of people. So it's everyone's thinking, I'm going to have to try and get to the front of the wave.
Yeah.
Then you end up with 250 people all sprinting for that. So, yeah, we probably shouldn't broadcast that too much, should we?
Definitely more training on the hills as well.
Mm-hmm.
That would help, definitely. Getting that muscle memory, like you said.
Yeah, and how about your nutrition and hydration?
I actually tried something new for this race. I went on a caffeine detox 9 days out.
Yeah.
So I didn't have coffee, Coke or anything. And I think it might have had a bit of a reverse effect when I had the caffeine gels. They actually started to play up on my belly a little bit.
Okay.
During the race. Didn't give me the pep that I thought I would have, having not taken it for 9 days earlier.
And the caffeinated gels that you've had previously, you've had them in training in other races, and they were fine?
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, lesson learned.
Yeah. Stick to the coffee midweek.
All right. Anything else about the day that you might do a little bit different or tweak to get an even faster finish?
Yeah, definitely training on the hills more.
Mm-hmm.
Strengthen that up in my training. Probably try something new on race day. Try that in practice.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I was pretty happy with how everything else went. I was able to push on when I needed to. So obviously, that was different to the marathon where I was trying to push myself, but was just gassed. So I was happy with that.
Yeah, and you'd said you were hoping for sub 5.
Yeah.
And I throw out the challenge of a 4:30, and you did a 4:40. So, that's...
Yeah, I'm going for fastest in the family next year.
Okay. So am I. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming back and telling us about your experience on the day. But you're definitely going back?
Yeah. I just seen the email that it's late November, the regos will be starting, so...
Mark it in the calendar?
It's in the calendar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Dane.
Thank you.
So I'm now here with Luke Newcombe, who had an amazingly successful day of his first 6-foot track. So, Luke, tell us how it went.
Yeah, thanks for that, Rob. Yeah, it was a good day. I pretty much ran how I expected. So, yeah, like starting out, I definitely got carried away with the front group.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the top 10 for most of the run down to the cemetery.
Okay.
So I think that tells me that I went out a bit quick.
Mm-hmm. So you knew that because you could see first and second sort of just ahead?
Yeah.
So you could sort of like just count them off and go, okay.
Yeah. So I strategically kind of worked my way to the front before the gun went off.
Nice.
And ran out with them.
Yeah.
Purely to get a feel for what it's actually like to be up the front there. And secondly, to just make sure I didn't get held up at Nellie's, because even wave 1, I saw there was some pretty congested down the back of wave 1 down Nellie's. So I just wanted to make sure that it was free flowing. So I strategically started at the front of wave 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, ran down the fire road with the front pack. Got to...
And were they running as a pack? Were you guys all running as a pack, or was it just like within sight and sort of spread out a bit?
Yeah, it was definitely within sight. Yeah,
Okay.
there was people sort of taking off early, but yeah, I was with the lead females all the way to the cemetery.
Okay.
Yep.
So at that point, was it just was it Steph or Steph and Sarah, Annie? Like
it was Sarah and Annie.
Okay.
Didn't see Steph for about halfway.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So from the cemetery, still feeling really good. Even though I ran fast, I felt like I had it pretty controlled. And then, yeah, across the river, still feeling good. Was with Sarah and Annie, the lead females. And then we did the climbs. I had set the goal to run the climbs, but...
So by this stage, had you let the front of the pack go a bit?
Yeah, we definitely settled. Like, I think the positions had spaced out a fair way at that point.
Okay.
And yeah, so we hit the climbs. I was still within the front females battle, which was really cool to watch unfold. And that's on those climbs is where Annie sort of went behind and Steph had come up. And that first climb, there was 3 position changes.
Right.
Yeah. So that was really interesting to just keep an eye on during my own race, watching the other race sort of unfold. Still feeling good at that point. So then I hit the top of the climb.
Top of Pluvy or Mini?
So the top of those big fire road climbs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had set the goal to run the whole way up. Unfortunately, didn't manage to do that. So I did some hiking, and I think that just came back to just the pace that we were running. Probably ran out too fast, and also being in the heat of the front, I was probably just pushing a little bit beyond what I had trained to do.
So you were just feeling it, that you were sort of overcooking a bit?
Yeah, definitely. I felt like I needed to just pull back a bit and make sure that I wasn't overdoing it, because I was starting to feel it by that point up those climbs.
Yep.
I had also sort of thought that if I can retain enough energy at the top of the climb to just like hook back in and have a really good 20k to the finish. Got to the top of the climb and started to go for it again. Started to gain back some positions that had passed me on the climb. And then around 30 kilometres, I ran into some stomach problems.
Okay.
Had that dreaded feeling of nausea and a bit of fluid sort of bouncing in my stomach, but it just didn't eventuate into a vomit or anything. But I was definitely starting to feel a bit crook at about 30 kilometres.
Right. And how long did that last? To the end, or it came and went?
It came and went.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you think it went because you backed off again?
I actually ditched my drink mix.
Right.
I felt like that was what was giving me the stomach problems. So it lasted up until the forest loop, and I was able to get some clean water in, and then at the end of the forest loop, I drank some Coke.
Okay.
And that was that really helped just bring a bit of buzz back.
Yeah.
And the stomach issues started to subside by that point.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Did you have to walk that last sort of climb up towards that aid station, that deviation? It's a bit of a uphill.
No, I walked in getting my bottle ready, but I was still.
But you still ran that whole 5k loop.
Yeah.
Then okay,
yeah.
good.
Oh, actually, in the forest, I did a bit of walking. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
All right. Yep. So then you're leaving deviation soon after you're feeling good again.
Yeah.
Did you have any idea of how you were going for pace or for position in the field or anything like that?
I didn't know which position I was in at all, but I still had the second and third females around. So they had passed me in the forest, both of them. So that was Sarah and Annie. And I thought if I can just hang on to them, they got their own race going on. I'll just try and hang with them to get home. So that's what I did. I sort of put a target on both of them and managed to get back in front of both of them by the end. So I actually reclaimed a few positions towards the end in that last 5Ks from the forest.
Do you think that you were, or do you feel that you were just feeling so much better or stronger at that point that you were overtaking? Or was this just that you were just able to maintain and the other people that were ahead were starting to drop and fade?
I think that I was feeling better, and I guess in the heat of worrying about my stomach issues, just backing it off that little bit maybe just helped me settle a bit so that I could pick it up again for that last little bit, drain the tank. Yeah.
Yeah, and so all the way to the finish?
Yeah.
It felt good.
It did, yeah. It felt good. It was definitely hard. I was fighting off some cramps. Didn't cramp, but they were definitely starting to knock on the door of the legs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereabouts was that? You were getting them in the legs.
So the hamstring,
Right.
and quad, like sort of around the knee. Yeah.
Okay.
Lower quad.
All right. So final outcome, you did a 4:13.50.
4:13.50. Yep. 4:15 was my target. Yeah. So I sort of put it out there to run the 4:15. So we come in a minute quicker than my goal.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So it was a very much an on-track day then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a success and a good experience.
And 21st place overall.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, especially for your first, and being the unknowns. But I know you did train on course. You actually trained on course with Annie and Sarah.
With both the
with both the
ladies
that you ended up running along with anyway.
Yeah.
So it was just like another training run.
Yeah, it really was. And we definitely threw that out there during the race between ourselves. Like, it's just a training run, just trying to boost morale and things. When when one would pass the other, because we'd all passed each other back and forth at least once. So pretty cool, and pretty cool to share that experience with your mates and watch their own race go ahead. So that was definitely a highlight.
Excellent. Yeah, no, that's great. So obviously, the nutrition and what happened there, or I should say hydration probably more so, that sort of caught you out a little bit. And so that was something new that you weren't expecting. Was there anything else that was a surprise on the day?
No, I think because we had put so much time into the practice, and I think the fact that I got so close to my goal time was that ran a pretty strategic race, and that came back to just the hard work that we put in leading up to it. Plenty of time on course. No surprises.
Okay, so it's been what 8 or 9 days since race day.
Yep.
So you've had some time to think about the race and how it went and everything that led up to it. Are you going to do another 6-foot?
Yeah, I'd love to. I think it's definitely a race to put on the calendar for the future.
And do you have an expectation that you'll go faster next year?
Yeah.
All right. So is there anything that's sort of glaring, other than obviously what happened with your hydration and your stomach? Is there anything else that you think, I reckon I could pick up 30 seconds here or a minute there, or anything like that you sort of go, all right, I know exactly where I could pick up here?
Yeah, I think definitely there's still time to be had in the hills. And I do feel like I ran a bit quicker than I probably should have in the start. And thus running up the hills, I ended up having to hike a little bit. There was definitely a lot of runners that passed me on the hills that were moving a lot more efficiently, just in a nice, consistent running. So yeah, I think if I can get stronger running up those fire roads, there's plenty of time to have there.
So maybe you might be assessing Steph Austin's splits in that first, run to the river, or certainly to the Megalong Road. Yeah, because it sounds like, without knowing whether she got caught behind anyone going down Nellie's or anything, but certainly sounds like she got to the road behind you guys, but then sort of picked you all up going up Mini after the river. So maybe she got that right. Yeah. It
would be really interesting to see the people who finished in front of us split times.
Yeah.
Especially because we were all running within that top 10 and got shuffled back a good 10 positions. It'd be nice to see how that group actually approached the front. I think you could dissect it a bit and find some time.
Yeah, well, it's all available. Yeah. So absolutely start filling up an Excel spreadsheet with different people and go, and go get averages and things like that. So
for sure.
Yeah, but overall, absolutely a success.
Yeah. It was a good day.
All right. Congratulations, Luke.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
Cheers. I'm here with Geoff Johnston-Hall, another first-time 6-foot finisher.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
You had an interesting couple of weeks leading up to
I did.
race day, so tell us about that.
Yeah, okay.
So start off, we had our initial interview. I was feeling pretty good. I had a couple of little niggles that were coming up, bit of Achilles tendonitis, which I've had that on and off a few times before. I think I'd relayed my story that last year I had a ticket for 6Foot, and then I developed what I think was a bone stress injury. So now this year I was feeling pretty good. I was out on I did a longish run on the weekend, I think just after the interview we had, and then was out in the week, just did an easy run, a couple of hill sprints, felt fine. And then, so that was the Tuesday, sort of week and a half before the run.
Yep.
And basically that afternoon, after a couple of hill sprints, my legs started to, my right leg, which I'd had the bone stress injury in before the previous year, it basically started to complain, and I was like sure that it was the bone stress injury again. And I pretty much, from then I was just like, it's out.
Right.
Just from knowing the process I went through that, last year, I just ruled myself out completely, which was, actually, it was actually quite emotional for me, because I was, amongst other things, really looking forward to it. Big connection for me, for like family history and stuff. So super disappointed. Didn't touch running for a week, went to the physio. The physio said, stay off it. And, he sort of said, look, it didn't seem like the bone stress injury. He sort of said it was muscular. But anyway, I was pretty convinced it was. Went to a sports massage guy, and he said, oh, look, I think it's muscular. And I'd booked myself already in for a massage, and had the massage, walked out of the massage that was the Tuesday just before the run. So it's about 4 days out from the run now. I walked out of there and I was like, hey, my leg feels really good. On the Wednesday, then I went for a little run. So
at this stage, you were getting a bit of hope. Maybe it's not out of the equation.
That's right. And it felt good on the Wednesday, but then I went for a little run again on the Thursday. Didn't feel too good on the Thursday.
Flared up again?
Yeah, flared up again. And I really just said, well, I think it's out. I think I'm done. Woke up on the Friday morning. I was like, yeah, can feel it. I'm out. But I was, religiously hot packing and then cold packing my leg. And basically after about an hour of hot packing, it really became really good. Like best it had felt for that whole 2 weeks. Felt great. I went for a little run around the block, a couple of Ks, ran up a hill, down a hill, just to test it out. Felt really good. So I logged in. I did it. I drove up the hill, got my bid. I'm in now.
Were you nervous on the start line?
Nervous for the injury, not for the run. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's what I meant.
For
sure.
Like,
how's this leg going to go?
Absolutely. I mean, to be honest with you, I was standing on the start line. I could sort of feel it was aching a little bit, and I was thinking, oh no, this. I'm sort of mentally preparing myself for, okay, what do I do when everything goes wrong? What am I going to do? How am I going to approach it? I was saying to myself, look, I'm just going to give it a go. I'll take it easy. I was pretty much told myself, when it gives out, when it starts to being painful, I'll just give in, and I'll just, walk as much as I can. That was my plan going in. I'll just see how it go. And, but it turned out a lot better.
So with that in mind, did you take it easier, certainly in the first leg or two, to the river?
Definitely holding back for two reasons. I mean, both, the leg, I was conscious of. And then also that was my plan as well. That had originally been my plan. Probably the third thing is coming down Nellies. So I'm pretty comfortable running down hills reasonably quick, not too quick, but and it was pretty slow coming. Like it was walking, right? It's pretty pedestrian. So I was sort of walking down there thinking, oh no, why am I walking? But actually it was a good thing. I think, it meant that I didn't go and punish my leg going down the first couple of flight of stairs. And got out of the stairs, started running, was feeling great. And so I pretty much just then, I took it a bit easy, but I just sort of settled into my pace. I'd had my original plan of trying to not go too hard, but just to stay, felt like my sort of sub-marathon pace, I suppose. It was great then. I sort of just sunk into that pace for yeah, the whole start of the run after that, caught up, coming out of Nelly's, was able to pick up a bit, past a bunch of people, so I got past a lot of the slower people then, and was able to sort of take off a bit. Yeah, and the leg really. So I think the legs at the moment there's a few nerve things going on, or there was some nerve things going on. It's going on still now, but yeah, certainly like on the day it was feeling really good. Really didn't feel it for the whole run. I wouldn't recommend other people do that. I think all the health professionals say, if you have an injury, don't run on it. But yeah, it turned out pretty well overall for me. Yeah, so the run down to the river was great. I'd had originally a bit of a target time of around about an hour 20. That was down to the river. So I was just above that by a couple of minutes, so it's pretty much on track.
So you didn't find there were too many hold-ups, on the way to the river?
The Nelly's really, and then it opened, because it opens up into a trail so quickly after that. There's a lot of space to pass people. Then when you sort of go over Megalong Road, you go down a bit more of the fire trail, and then you turn right off and it becomes a single track. So, caught up with a bunch of people, but, it was only sort of individuals. I was sort of a bit able to just take off individuals. I didn't get stuck behind any sort of queues or anything. And really, actually, the only queue I really hit would have been when I got to the river. Yeah. Really, as soon as I got to the river, there was a massive queue of people then crossing the river.
Or just following the rope.
Yeah. And I was, first time I was like, should I follow the rope or should I just, swim around them?
The side.
Yeah. So really my strategy or my approach to them was to try to run a fair bit of the way up Mini and up Pluvy as well. That was my hope. But to really definitely to hike the harder hills. So I've had enough training runs on Mini and Pluvy to know that. So certainly Mini I can run up all the way up that. Pluvy, I've always struggled a little bit just at the end of Pluvy. So I just, my strategy going in was just to run what I could when I felt like I was exerting too much. I'd power hike for a while. And I'd learnt last year, I ran UTA 50 last year, when I was going up that, after you down Kadumba and then you're coming back up, I found myself behind someone who very clearly their goal was to run the whole way up to Lura Forest. And I sort of found, there's what it is, like an hour, maybe you're going uphill. I was walking the hard bits and then jogging. And I actually found that, there's actually a really good runner, a guy called Steve Hunter, who's a Lower Mountains runner. But, I found taking that strategy, actually, I kept up with Steve. He ran the whole way. I was able to sort of walk the really hard bits and then I could run the slightly easier parts and then, I'd sort of catch up to him and then he'd take off when it got too hard. But actually by the end of that, for that race, I got to the end of all the hills and I then had more energy at the end to then take off. So that was a takeaway that I'd taken from that, which I think for me, up Pluvy worked out quite well. I was able to, same thing, sort of pick off people pretty regularly up the hill. Got chatting with a few people as we sort of tussled up the hill and, passed a bunch of people, sort of having a bit of a laugh and smiling and people saying, oh, sort of run up the hill and they're saying, oh, that looks easy, trying to make it look easy, yeah, it's easy.
And then Black Range was good for you then?
So it was definitely harder than I was expecting, for sure. I was expecting that I'd be able to run Black Range without too much trouble, but yeah, definitely there was a few sections where my legs were definitely giving out a bit. I also, I've noticed something I've been trying to work out what's going on, which I think I've worked out now. I found that some of the races, these sorts of ultras I do, I lose vision in one of my eyes.
Okay.
If you've ever come across that before.
No, that's not uncommon for people doing ultras to do that. Yeah.
So it's new to me.
Okay.
So I've been sort of trying to work out what's going on. Is it caffeine intake or something? So I sort of went off caffeine for this run. Still had the same problem.
Yeah, I think some runners have that, and it's the eye drying out, and so that's a little bit drops in. So.
Yeah, so I think that's
I believe Courtney DeWalter has that, where she's got to put the droppers in at the aid stations or checkpoints, and so has them in her bag to stop that. But I've seen people who have that experience doing TA 100.
Yeah. So that's what I think that's going to be a thing for me going forward. Doing a better job of managing that. I've been trying to sort of work it out slowly. But yeah, we've got to do it. Anyway, so Black Range, I started to lose a bit of vision in one of my eyes, which, when you're used to running with two eyes, it becomes, perturbs you a little bit. You sort of strike a bit less regular. But it wasn't too bad. I sort of walked a couple of hills on the Black Range still. Was able to get a reasonable cadence up for most of the way along the Black Range. Again, was able to pick off a couple of runners through the Black Range, not too many. Got over the top then to the deviation. Was going pretty good. I'd hoped at the deviation, you get this sort of the nice flat section as soon as you get to the deviation, which you start to enter into the pine trees, which is quite nice. It's quite a nice spot. And clearly, I think everyone gets there and thinks, great, this is the flat bit in the downhill, so now I can take off, which is good. Like everyone, you can really get up a good cadence, a good running cadence again, which is nice. But definitely, didn't quite get up to as high a clip as I was hoping maybe through there, which is fine. And definitely the downhill, I was starting to feel definitely my adductors, hip flexors, and things were all definitely starting to feel the downhills. Especially then you go down through some of those rocky fire trail sections there, which were starting to give me a little bit of grief. But but going all right. Sort of go through the pine forest there, and then you get to a couple of up hills. So I definitely was starting to conk out a little bit. Walked a couple of those hills for sure, or did a bit of the sort of run, power walk for a bit, run, power walk. And then there's the last sort of section, I suppose, when you come back, meet the Black Range campground there. And then you sort of run the last river, 5, 6 Ks or so. So did all right through that section too. So again, found myself with, there's a few people that we'd all been sort of, back and forwarding one another for quite a while. So found us, we'd all caught up to each other again and were backwards and forwarding. We all took over a couple more runners, which was nice. And actually Dane as well. So Dane, I'd started the run actually with Dane. And I'd left him at the start line, and then all of a sudden I hear over my back shoulder, hey Geoff, how you doing? So I suppose 40 Ks into the 45K race was really nice, right? It's always nice to catch up with your mates on the trail. So that was great. So we got to run the last sort of 5Ks together, which was good. Picked off a few more people, got to the last sort of 2-3 Ks, and was pretty glad. We'd had a training run maybe a month before, and we'd done that last little section, which I was pretty glad that we did, because a couple of those it's a couple of turns you got to take down.
Oh, like go down some little stairs and then off.
You it'd be quite easy in a couple of spots where you could just sort of
keep going
and miss the turn.
You zoned out a bit.
Especially by that time. My definitely legs were starting to cramp up then. Hamstring was starting to cramp up. My calves were starting to cramp up, which that was a bit of a new one for me. I definitely get cramps. Normally for me, it's my hamstrings tend to cramp. My calves started to go a bit, which might have been partly, partly I've probably changed my cadence and things a little bit, and my gait, just to try and protect my ankles, my calves, my legs a little bit more.
Yeah, I was thinking that when you were saying that, I was, I wonder if that's because you'd, in the back of your mind, you got this niggle or this pain that was worse than a niggle, that you're thinking at some stage a week before it's a bone stress fracture or whatever, and then would it change the way that you
and I definitely should say, I definitely went into the race. Actually, I didn't mention at the start. I went in very consciously. Said to myself, I've got to pick up my cadence because, I've got to protect the leg, so minimise the stress on it. Make sure I pick up my cadence, be quite careful with my gait, make sure I use my glutes a lot more than my calves because I probably use my calves too much, pushing off, which I think that really helped a lot, the whole way really, I was making sure I was using all those other muscles really well to try to distribute the load, which clearly paid off, right? So the last then got to the last K, which was great. Still running with Dane, I don't have as much power as Dane. He's probably a bit younger and certainly a bit stronger than me.
He's a bit younger.
Yeah, and there's a few other good runners. So definitely the last 500 meters, whatever. A few people went past me, but overall had an excellent finish. So around like 4:41 was my time, which even before the injury, I'd said to myself, look, 4:40 I thought would be a good time for me. Coming into it, having had an injury, having decided that even the morning before I wasn't going to do it, super happy. Really happy.
So now that you've done it, and I assume you're going to be back again.
Yep.
Yeah,
definitely.
So taking into account everything that happened in the lead up to and on race day with the cramps and things like that wasn't ideal. Have you thought about how many more minutes you could take off at that time?
Yeah. So I reckon this year I probably could have taken off for sure like 5 to 10 minutes. I think it's definitely, if I'd, if I didn't come in with a bit of a niggle, the injury, but also, Nellie's and, knowing I could push myself a little bit more than I probably did. So definitely, But I suppose, if next year coming back, I suppose I'd hope that I'd be able to knock off 20 minutes for sure. Again, assuming I can stay injury free and I can, keep myself strong and keep going, keep training in between now and then. Yeah. And I suppose second time round as well,
Absolutely, just course knowledge.
Yeah.
And not like just having run on the course in segments, but actually doing the whole course,
race the
end
course.
to end, actually race the course.
Yeah. It's always interesting how races are so different. Like when you run, if you run a route, run segments of a course, you're on your long runs, but then you come back and actually do it in a race. How they feel completely different. Whether it's some sections can feel harder, but actually a lot of other sections will feel easier. I'll just go by, which is So knowing second time round, I think that'd make a really big difference.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how you go next year.
Yeah.
Was there anything about the race, the course, the day that still surprised you?
Good question. Surprised me. I mean, the coming down Nellies and how slow it was. Again, coming from a background of, I expect when there's downhill stairs, to be running them. That certainly surprised me. I know that surprised a couple other people as well. A couple of friends of mine who were very fast downhill runners. They got stuck in traffic and they were pretty surprised that there was traffic on the stairs so early.
So to be fair to all of those people that were ahead, some of those steps are quite perilous.
Oh, absolutely.
And you've got the sort of the wet rock crossing where the water channel is in a few spots. It would be very easy to come a cropper. So
and I've rolled an ankle going down there before. So I mean, it's not a bad thing in many ways either. But again, having to slow down there, it's good for. I suppose if everyone tore down there, I'm sure you get to the bottom and there'd probably be like a pile of dead bodies.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, there's a reason why their first aiders are at the base there. Yeah.
But look, other surprises. Not really. It was it was just a good day out. Lovely to again, it's always great to run those sorts of trails with big groups of people. You meet great people along the way. On the bus out, sat next to a lovely guy, Joshua Liang, who was telling me all about his plans for that night, and he's going to barbecue up a big set of pork ribs for him and his mates, and and then on the trails, obviously, it's nice to have that little friendly competition you get with people when you're sort of tussling up and back and forthing one another and having a laugh at the same time. Like it's very friendly friendly competitiveness, which is nice to be able to share that with with friends and with people. So yeah, nothing surprising though. I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, thanks and congratulations again, Geoff.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, I'm here with Kate Klein, another 6-foot debutante. Yes, proudly showing off the merch.
That's
the
right.
bling.
That's right. My arm's a bit sore from holding my medal like this for a week now.
And your cheek
Yeah,
muscles
that's right.
sore
That's
from
right.
smiling.
That's right. Yeah.
So it was a good experience for you.
Oh, it was a great experience. So obviously I was unsure myself how I was going to go and whether I was going to complete the run. And I completed the run and I did it almost at my goal finish time. So I was aiming for 6 hours 30 and I did 6:34 and 50 seconds.
You did, yes.
So that's a lot closer to 6:30 than 7 and just absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about you having a buffer and having your splits to create that buffer, just in case anything went a bit pear-shaped towards the end. So you didn't need it.
Look, it was interesting. By the river, I'd gained 5 minutes, and then I caught Skip Phoenix, who was one of the pacers for Wave 5 before. Sorry, I was 5 minutes ahead at Megalon Road, and then I caught him before I even got to the river. And my goal was to have caught him sort of heading up to Alum Creek, and I knew then I'd be 10 minutes ahead of time. So in that sense, I just bought myself this relief for the rest of the race that I knew I had a little bit in my pocket. I had that 10 minutes up my sleeve. Yeah. It's great.
It is great when a plan comes together, isn't it?
So good. And I had this expectation of having the sweepers right behind me and having that pressure, and to not have that for the rest of the race was just fantastic.
And as I messaged you after the race, you were worried about the sweepers, and there was like 150 people between you and the sweepers. Never in doubt. Worked out more than okay.
It was great.
Yeah, no, it was really good. Was there anything that surprised you about the day?
Probably being ahead of where I thought I'd be. My body did a few things it hasn't done before in terms of kind of, pins and needles in my legs and thinking, am I going to kind of cramp up in a way that'll stop me running? I've never even carried Cramp Fix because I never needed it, but I needed it then. So I guess a few things like that surprised me. But look, I think just the elation at the end and just how important having some support, just the friendly faces at the beginning, at the end, during the race, just how much of a lift you get from that was fantastic.
And did you get that during the race? I mean, we talked about that as well, that, you'd find this support and camaraderie out on the course. We're all going to get this done.
Yeah, I think so. I do find, because it's such a slog, people can be in their zone, and I know I would have been as well for a lot of the race. But no, most definitely, and especially at the end, people sort of would talk about, those stairs are coming, those little stairs at the end. I hate those stairs. And then, we'd be running along together, and then by the end it would be, I love those stairs. We're just kind of pepping ourselves up to embrace things positively. So, yeah, there definitely were elements of that in the race that was very special.
That's great. So you're going back next year?
Oh, look, towards the end, I thought I couldn't believe it when I started to let myself think, I'm going to finish this. I was trying to go through my mind, what could stop me? Don't trip, don't cramp up, just keep going. This is going to be okay. And in my mind, I was thinking, I don't have to do this again. So it did cross my mind that this would be my one and only. So I'm not going to commit to doing it again. I think the appeal of finishing at Genoan Cave would be fairly strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if there's a course change, sign me up.
Maybe.
And at the moment, maybe not.
Yeah.
All right. How do you think that this completing the race the way you'd planned for it and trained for it and then had that goal, and then to be so close to what was your expected time or goal time?
Yeah.
Is it too early to suggest that that's changed your outlook on your running?
I would say yes. I think that there are some things that's going sort of towards a deviation. It's downhill, it's wide, it's fabulous. You've just come off the uplift of an aid station. I saw a friend there that was a really sort of special interaction, and I could not go fast. Normally I can run down there sort of 2 minutes per kilometre faster than what I could make my body do. And that really surprised me, that even running downhill, I just couldn't go at what I would call my normal pace for that sort of incline. So I think, I think maybe I could train that a bit, or, there might be some room to improve like that going forward.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was wondering more about the mindset piece, I can achieve wonderful things. I can do epic stuff.
Definitely, I would say to anyone, having a plan and following a plan, especially if you can get some external sort of coaching and guidance, which I had, it's amazing what you can achieve, and how what then sort of seems exactly what you're saying, normal. It seems like I can do this and I can actually incrementally improve. I used to listen to people talking that way and just thinking that wasn't me. But I suppose having shown up and having done this training and having done it, I guess that is me now. Just said that, I can see already a little tweak I could make. So I think definitely it makes you. I reflected on how much recognition I've got from people in my life for having done this, and I know that that this is a huge thing that not many people do. But I also think about the things that everyday people do in their everyday lives that are sort of really just as worthy of recognition and accolades. And I think about people who get up when that alarm goes off and do something they don't want to do, or they're there for their kids, or they work on, their relationships. So there's so many things in life that are worthy. And I just look at all of, I know I've been ringing my own bell, but, when I look at how much sort of accolades I've got from this, I just think, you can apply this to all those other areas of your life where you think, I can do hard things. This was hard, but I had a plan and I exercised it and I executed it. I got this done. I can do other hard things in my life, not just harder running, but other hard things. And definitely just by having a plan and having a coach and, saying it out loud and then saying that's where I want to be, I think it's sort of inspired me to do that, and hopefully other people as well. It doesn't just have to be running. It can be, that really hard thing. And some things in life are really hard, but you can go after them the same way.
Yeah, I'm going to be really interested to watch your journey over the next 1 to 2 years to see how it does affect you. In that, because you had voiced those concerns about, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm good enough or fit enough or young enough to do this stuff that these other people are doing, and now that you've done it, and you kicked its butt, like you really did. You weren't like 2 minutes before the sweepers, before the cutoff. You had oodles of time, as I said, like you had 150 people behind you, or thereabouts. So yeah, I would be really keen to see if that translates to, and you're right, it could be translating to other things in life, but it might also, if we stick to running, it might mean, I'd never considered entering that race before, but now I might, or even not a race, but just a big challenge. To say, I'd always love to do that, but I thought that wasn't for me, but now I know it is within my reach.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah,
let's see. Let's see what happens. All right. One thing that I was very interested to know how it went was your nutrition strategy. Okay. You were going to have mashed potato.
So I listened to the previous podcast and how I said I was keeping my nutrition strategy simple, and then I compared mine to everybody else's, which was gels, water, sort of tailwind, and I thought, I don't think I quite achieved simplicity. The night before the race, in the middle of my nerves, I was weighing everything. I was weighing my gaiters to see if I had a lighter pair of gaiters, because the mashed potato is really heavy, compared to a gel. And so I did do the mashed potato strategy. Mashed potato was great, really easy to take in, but it is heavy. So, I might, but it worked. And, I found that I did use different bits of nutrition almost as a distraction in some ways as well. And maybe that's just me, just sort of calming down a mind that doesn't stop racing. So it worked. It worked. Yeah. Maybe I can
And-
aerate my mashed potato.
Yeah.
Make it lighter.
Use light milk.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad that it
Yeah.
worked out for you.
It
But
did.
yeah, there is an old saying in ultra: it's better in you than on you.
Yes.
It's better to be consuming it than carrying it. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you didn't
Yes.
carry it and get to the end and go, I've still got half a kilo of mashed potato in my vest.
No, I did not. I reckon I got to about 75% of it. And I took, 400 grams.
But you felt that you had enough energy.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Excellent.
And I started consuming, everything early, which I think was a good thing too.
Yep.
Yeah, before
Yeah.
you think you need it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wise words there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kate. Well, it's been really fun to follow this journey, and having spoken to you a number of times about this, and you're, as I said, you've voiced some fears around it and maybe some doubts, but it's just I'm so pumped that you got it done, and it was such a pleasurable experience for you.
And look, the curiosity for me will be, can anything else feel this good at the end? It's in the bottom, whatever percentage. I mean, I'm really thrilled with my result, but I just think I was so ecstatic. And I just wonder, is that kind of like the podium for me in terms of elation? That will be an interesting one to watch as well.
Well, it should be. I know we're sort of getting off topic a bit here, but I mean, one of the things about running is, one of the things that a lot of people really like about running compared to other sports, a lot of other sports, is that you don't really, other than the people that are right at the pointy end and landing on the podium or fighting for a podium place, everyone else is really just fighting themselves.
Mm.
Like they're pushing against their previous training or their previous knowledge or perhaps even their younger self, and seeing if they're maybe older but a bit wiser, and therefore they can wring a little bit of extra performance out of themselves. So I heard so many people after SixFoot, no one was really talking about, well, I came 138 or I came 256. It was, I had a 3-minute PB or I had a 17-minute PB, and that's what pumped them up. And so it didn't matter who they're comparing it to. And this is really for any race, but whether it's a half marathon, a park run, or a 100-mile race, if you've done one and then you do another, you're just stacking up against yourself before you worry about stacking yourself up against other people comparing. So yeah, I absolutely think that's where we can get a lot of joy out of running. And then in running these events, it's really just comparing and going, oh, how did I go? What did I tweak? What did I do differently? What have I learned? Yeah. How can I go a bit better next time? Yeah. So, and absolutely just live that high for as long as you can until you find the next goal and see if you can't get a new high from that. So.
Absolutely. Agree.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
So we've got a bonus runner's performance from SixFoot today. I've got Annie Hand, who came second female and 22nd overall. This is not your first. This was your third SixFoot, but an amazing performance. Well done.
You.
Was it the performance that you expected?
Maybe a bit better than I was expecting. Yeah.
Do you think so? Sarah was like a minute and change behind you at the finish.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was going to ask how because Steph was a few minutes ahead.
Yeah.
So I don't know if how early it was that you knew you were sort of battling for first, second, third, and how often that changed.
Well, let me tell you.
Yes, please do.
So my plan from the start was to gun it to the river, which is funny because a lot of people advise not to do that. But I think speaking to my coach, Quentin Gill, the Goat Farm, he knows my strength, and downhill running, technical running, that's my strength. And he said, Annie, I think you should go for it to the river. And I was listening to Steph being interviewed before the race by the announcer. And he's like, any advice? She said, take it easy to the river. And I'm sitting there going, oh, no, because it's exactly what I was not going to do. But I have no regrets. I loved that section. I got to the river in a quicker time than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
I had not many people around me. One male runner was just ahead of me, but Sarah and I sort of followed each other down Nellie's. Mm-hmm. Then she very politely said, oh, you go over the first up and over. And then, I didn't see her again until I'd say the first climb up.
You mean the sty over the fence?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
which was very lovely. She's so nice. And so she passed me just after the river. I'd say the first climb, mini, and I honestly thought, well, I won't see you again, but have a great day. And we had trained the course together, and I know how strong she is going uphill. So I was content with that, and I always knew Steph was coming. A male runner said to me, probably about, I'd say towards the start of just before going up Pluby, he said, Steph Austin's about 400 metres away.
Oh.
And I said, well, I knew she was coming. And
you're behind?
Behind.
Oh, okay.
And she passed me. And she actually said in the interview, she felt a little bit pushed, which made me feel a bit special because she was pushed at that start to catch us too. And yes, she passed again, lovely, very encouraging. And then I didn't see her again. So I decided very early on to always run my own pace. So my plan when people passed me, males and Sarah, was just to don't try and get carried away with the pace they were running up Pluby. Just do my tap up every hill. And I managed to tap all the way to the top of Pluby and did not stop once. And when I got to the top, I felt really good. And I was like, oh, okay. And I think because I'd done the course the race 2 years in a row before that, I knew how I was feeling at those points in those races before, and I didn't feel as bad then. I was like, oh, this is good. Like, I'm feeling really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Black Range for me has always been, oh gosh, just get to the end. Whereas this time I think I had a bit more of a pep in my step. And I saw Sarah just ahead. I was very shocked to see her, and I ran up alongside of her, and she said, how are you feeling, Annie? I said, yeah, really good, great, I think I said. And she said, good on you. She was very encouraging. And off I went, but I knew she would stay close. There was still probably about 11 Ks to go, I would say, roughly. And I knew I would have to keep up a decent pace because she's such an incredible strong runner, and I knew she would keep me close. And I got to deviation, caught up to a teammate, Luke Newcombe, and that was wonderful. He gave me a big smile. I think I had a massive smile on my face, and he's like, you're having the race of your life. I said, yeah, I think I am. And he goes, go for it. So I went ahead, and then he caught back up to me in that single track after the road towards the end.
Okay.
So what's that, 3K to go?
Yeah,
something like that. And he was very, very encouraging, and he saw that I was starting to look over my shoulder, and he said, Annie, focus, get to that finish line. He actually ran in front of me and said, just look at my hat and you'll be fine. And I did. I followed him all the way to the finish line. So I'm forever grateful for that. And yeah, it was perfect, magical day. I loved it. Yeah, really loved it.
Awesome. What was the difference in time from your previous?
So the first year I did it was 5 hours 10.
Okay.
Second year, which was only 6 months ago because it was deferred, was 4:29, and I was elated with that time. I was in third position in that race until deviation, and I just got this empty feeling, which I am. I get a lot, and I realised that I needed to change something, and that was definitely my nutrition. So I went from 4:29 to this year 4:14, and never ever got that emptiness or feeling like I couldn't keep going.
That's still a massive improvement. I know, like, obviously from the first to the second.
Yes.
I had a similar, like, my first 6 foot to my second was 58 minutes difference. You know, it's just like very similar training, and I think, it's just the knowing the course better more than anything, and having another year of training under my belt. But but then when you achieve a really good result, it's harder to get such a big percentage
100%.
improvement.
And I think I actually put a lot of pressure on myself to beat last year's time, that I started to get, that's all I was focusing on. I was like, someone said to me, are you going for a position or your time? And I go, I just want to beat my time. Like, you put this pressure on yourself and you go, that was such a good time. How am I going to improve that? Quentin and I spoke about my time, and I told people I was aiming for about a 4:20, but in my mind, I was aiming for a 4:15 because you always go a little bit over.
Yes.
So to get 4:14,
Well, publicly, you
yes, that's right.
added the
But I was always 4:15. So when I finished at 4:14, I was like, yes. Yeah, it's good.
Really great. And just in that last few Ks, I know you mentioned about running along with Luke and being focused on him, but in the back of your mind, were you waiting for footsteps just in case Sarah was coming?
So much. Like, he had to really hammer into me, and he stopped. He probably said it a number of times, stop looking behind, just run your own race. And I'm so grateful for that, because I was spending at least the last 2 kilometres going like that, and I just had to get out of that headspace and just look straight ahead. And I honestly didn't feel comfortable until I got to that downhill section where you see the crowd and then you got to go around the cabins. That's where I went, oh, I think I've got this now. Yeah.
Yeah, could you imagine if it was like 10 seconds difference?
I know.
You got this match race for the finish.
She was very close. So I think, I was quite lucky to get home just in front.
All right. So I would call that still a massive improvement based on where you are in the field and relative to the record times. Like, you're getting up there now. So even getting 2 minutes is huge. What were the key things that you did differently in the last 6 months compared to the 2025 SixFoot track race?
I increased my strength sessions, which I think has been instrumental to my improvement.
In number or weight?
The amount, not so much weight. So the amount of sessions I did.
Frequency.
And also focusing on things that I always worked on my legs. That was something that was just standard, because you think, runner, got to work on my legs. But it was actually my core and my arms that I focused heavily on. And I was given some advice by a very good friend who said, when you run, where do you first feel pain? And for me, it's not my legs, it's my arms. So we focused on that. And it's like, fix that and work on that. And then something else might need something, but focus on what hurts first. So,
But that fatigue.
Yes, the fatigue came in my arms. Definitely nutrition. So I was speaking to Quentin the night before the race, and he gave me some sound advice about carrying my own. I use precision carbon electrolyte mix and gels. That's all I use during the race. And I was just going to use that for 2 bottles and then use the tailwind on the horse, which is great that that's provided. But he suggested carrying an extra 3 flasks empty with just my precision gel in it. So it was my mix. It was what I was used to training with. I'm so glad I did, because I used every bit of it. And like I said, for the first time ever, I never got that feeling of, oh, I've got nothing left. Every race I've done, I always get towards the end and just feel like I'm a petrol tank leaking and I've got nothing to give. Whereas this time I was like, I'm on top of this. I did put an alarm in my Garmin, which every 30 minutes it tells me to eat, and and I'm leaving that there even in training now. And no matter how I was feeling, I ate. As soon as it went off, I had a gel. So every 30 minutes, it meant that I was having 90 grams of carbs an hour, which sounded like a lot, but I easily did it and I didn't feel sick from it. And I reckon that's why I felt better.
Sorry, were you using the 90 gram, you know, the twist lid?
Yes, and every once in a while I treat myself with a little caffeinated one.
Okay.
So a smaller one, caffeinated.
the 30
and that, even just for a mindset thing, that works great. It's like, oh, I'm due a caffeinated one now. So it's like a treat. The other thing I would say is in training, I increased zone 1 and 2 running. So I never knew it was a thing until my coach sort of started teaching me and how important it is to have those slow recovery runs where your heart rate is low. And I always thought to go faster, I had to always be going fast. But no, it was actually learning to run slow and get comfortable at running at a lower heart rate. And I reckon that made a huge difference. The other thing was definitely focused on this block, 2 speed sessions a week. So yes, recovery run slow, important, but then I did 2 interval sessions a week.
Mhm.
And I reckon he was just trying to get me to run faster. And
did you notice that during training that you were getting faster
Oh,
for like your
100%,
splits and everything?
100%. And I relied heavily on my training mates like Dane to pace me. I'm hopeless at pacing. So I was always like, can you please help me run at this pace? And they were so great. They would just, all I had to do was keep up with them. So it was great. Just 1K intervals,
Mhm.
around 3:40 pace. And I never thought in my life I could run that quick. For me, that is really quick. And every week it just got that bit easier. And I was like, oh, I can do this. It's going to change the next block heading towards UTA.
Yeah.
And
More
that's what
endurance and strength.
that's
yeah.
what I love about Quinton. He really tailors to what I need for specific races. So he's just released my next block of training, which will look different to 6 foot, but it's a different race. So it makes sense that it has changed a bit.
Yeah. So there is a saying that a lot of coaches adopt, which is do your easy sessions easy enough so you can do your hard sessions hard enough.
It's exactly
And
right.
that's exactly what you've experienced.
Yes,
The benefit of that.
definitely.
By going easier and not doing everything at zone 3, zone
Yes,
4,
yes.
then, by having more recovery, then when you need to
Yes,
do the harder stuff,
definitely.
you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad that you're seeing the benefits of that.
I am. Yeah. I did a bit of fascia training as well. I've been talking about this a lot. My mantra in the race was tap, 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 because that's exactly what I think of when I'm running up a hill. Just little steps. It's about bouncy movements, standing tall, which why it was so important to have that core strength, because I noticed in previous races, you get your race photos and I'm like, why am I slouching all the time? So working on my posture was a huge thing. So trying to stand tall, I'd consciously be thinking to myself, stand tall, and just doing those little bouncy movements. And in training, I would do one-legged calf raises, hopping, skipping, jumping. Like how long has it been since you just jumped? And it was kind of fun. I felt like I was young again. I was like, oh, this is cool. So that all, I think, played a massive part in, especially I noticed when you get to the top of hills like Mini and Pluby and not having that lactic acid in your legs. And then what that means is when it is flat, you can go. So it's like, run the easy hard and hard easy. And that's exactly what I tried to do.
That's another good mentor. Huh?
Yes, I used that in the miler, actually.
No, that's a great one. Okay. So this being your third, but, no race is ever the same. What surprised you about this year?
I think how good I felt. And I focused so much in training on training the course. And I think that was so good for my success. And getting to certain points of a race and remembering, oh, last year, this bit really hurt. And then getting to it and going, oh, I feel really good. And I kept on surprising myself. I'm like, when am I going to feel bad? When is that? And yeah, I'm not saying it didn't hurt. It did. There were hurt.
Yeah. Well, you're running hard in the race.
Yes.
Yeah.
But just feeling so much stronger. And that surprised me. What a difference. All these little things, it's those 1% changes and the difference that made. Yeah.
So do you expect to throw your hat in the ring for 6 foot again?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're going to do that, I'm assuming 2027?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. What do you expect you're going to do differently to go faster again?
Yes. I'll have to ask my coach. When I was thinking of this year's time, and like I just said, it was so hard to imagine going better because I was so happy with the time last year. But somehow I shaved 15 minutes off that, and I'm like, wow, okay. If I just keep improving, keep training, I'm just learning. And the beauty of this sport is, I'm 43, but I feel like I'm still got years to go, and we can run for so long that I'm like, well, if I just keep improving, maybe I can shave another 15 minutes. Wouldn't a sub 4 be nice? And I really would love to finish in Genoa Caves. I I've never seen that finish line. And I think all of us who have not been there or have and know what it's like, we're hanging out for that finish line. So, yeah, I'll definitely be back.
Well, so this is really showing my age, but in the old days before Facebook and Instagram, we had a website called Cool Running.
Okay.
And so that's where you went for all of, I mean, before everyone had coaches, that's where you went for all the race reports and to learn about races.
Yeah.
It's where people first heard about things like Barkley.
Yeah. Was there a Strava?
No, there wasn't even Strava. Yeah, gosh, all them one. And this dinosaur, along with a lot of other dinosaurs, used to be on Cool Running. And Kevin Tiller, who was the race director for SixFoot for many years, he was a great runner and had raced it for a number of years as well. And his wife Dawn had finished the race. I think she won it 2 or 3 times. I have to check the record books for that. But there was a category or a title that you could earn, which was 6-foot sicko. And it was if you could do Dawn's time or faster, which was 4:11. And there was even a logo, like a badge that you could put on against your avatar if you were a 6-foot sicko. So that was a thing for people that were in the low 4s. It was like just another like goal to strive for, to go, I'd like to be a 6-foot sicko, you know. So I'll throw that out there for you now. That
I want to be
say I want to be a 6-foot sicko and be better than 4:11. So there's 3 minutes.
3 minutes? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do. Faster the river? Maybe.
Well, if you keep up with the strength,
Yeah.
everything else goes really well. And again, that muscle memory, I think just another year of doing the training.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've got to find that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Annie.
Thank
This has
you
been
for
great.
having me.
No problem.
I've always wanted to be on this podcast. I listen all the time.